the session. So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining today. I'm very happy to see people from all over the places, from all over the world. Portugal, I don't know the location of everybody, but I'm happy to be able to meet from different continents here today. And today it's a very unique session because we are gathering 3 artists from the Mexican community in Miami, from the Mexican cultural community on the Mexican Cultural Institute of Miami. And it's unique that the 3 artists presenting today were born and raised in Mexico, same as myself. And it's nice, it's lovely to have a workshop today with this, like-minded Mexican race people. And it's nice for you to know what we are doing out of our country. So happy to present the 3 of them. I'm happy to present also, well, for the people who are new here to the ANT project, I'm gonna just give a very short briefing of what the ANT project is. It's a nonprofit organization founded by myself with the goal of interconnecting creators, interconnecting artists and curators and writers and any kind of creator who wants to build a horizontal network of interaction aiming to a self-sustaining community. That means we validate our work through our interaction. We strengthen the content of the creative projects through the feedback, the unbiased feedback. And we build bonds in an international community, so important nowadays to be connected, to know that we are working in a bigger, wider field than we might even perceive or see. So the goal of the ANT project is to build and to nurture this field where a lot of creators are connecting and bringing content, creative content to the community. So thank you for being part of this community today. Thank you for being part of this field and nurturing the whole community through your participation and interaction. And today I want to present Adriana Torres, who is the director of the Mexican Cultural Institute of Miami, part of the Mexican consulate in Miami. Adriana, you want to say a few words?
Yes, hi everybody. I am very happy to be here. It's an honor for me to be part of this cultural community. And today is a very special day because we are all involved here in Miami with you, Guadalupe, and your methodology, who is really amazing. And we have been embraced all your knowledge, and I am very happy to be here to be part of this conversation today. Thank you. Thank you, Guadalupe.
Thank you, Adriana. So today we are joined also by Edgar Pozos, who is the founder of Pen Project. Pen Project is the culmination of 25 years of experience in the Miami art market. And one of the artists presenting today, she's gonna have a project with Pen Project. So you're gonna know a little bit more about it when it's her turn, Laura Villarreal. And now we're gonna start with the first artist presenting, Rina Gitling. Rina is an independent curator, art historian, and cultural event planner. She holds a Master of Liberal Arts in Museum Studies from Harvard Extension School. And Rina has 23 years of experience successfully planning and executing innovative exhibitions, events, and festivals in the United States and Mexico. So Rina, please, the floor is yours. Can you check if you're unmuted? Rina?
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna share again. Hi, everybody. Let me, do you
yeah,
see my presentation?
we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm very happy to be here today. I'm gonna be talking about an exhibition at the Mexican Consulate in Miami. We're planning to do this. It's gonna open in a couple of weeks, November 23rd. I'm gonna talk a little bit about it, and well, I hope you like it. And if you have any comments at the end, I would be very happy to hear. The past year and a half have been very challenging for most of us. We have felt uncertainty, loss, anxiety, sadness, loneliness, and darkness. It has indeed been challenging, but it also has shown us how to search for the light, live the present, and appreciate everything we have. In the exhibition Trigger of Hope, we want to show how the artists I'm going to show find resilience in times of adversity. Each of the artists has its style and medium, but what connects them is the search to see the light at the end of the tunnel. The exhibition's aim is also to show the power of sisterhood and togetherness. This exhibition is a collaboration between Adriana Torres, director of the Cultural Institute of the Mexican Consulate, and me. And the 6 participating women artists are incredible, talented, and most of all, beautiful and resilient human beings. This is the plan of the consulate. We have all these artists. And our first artist her name is Yalitza Barrios. She's from Venezuela. She's based in Miami too. She uses macrame to express her deepest feelings and thoughts. The name of this piece is Freedom, which is precisely what the artist wants to convey. Accepting herself the way she is and proving herself how far she can go through love and transformation. In each knot, the audience can perceive the conflict, and when she releases the thread, we sense the freedom. Burkas is this piece. It is inspired by the women of Afghanistan, women who are wrapped in their burkas and suffer an intense situation of discrimination. The artist wanted to show their inner light, even though it's hidden. It shows the brightness of their souls, the desperate cry of women who deserve the light to be seen. Yalitza identified this piece with her personal life, since that is how she lived for many years without being able to express how she felt or who she wanted to be. The next artist, she is also a member of the AND project, and her name Maripaz Cervera. She's a Mexican artist. She lives in Querétaro, Mexico, and this piece is called Circumscribed Robes. This installation proposes to deepen the awareness both on an individual and a collective level about gender-based violence. This symbolic representation is meant to be felt as a space of protection that seeks to reflect women's vulnerability in daily life. As you can see, she uses the tape. It's called the barrier tape, and it's generally used in places where accidents or violent events have occurred. The tape is redefining the pieces. The traditional connotation of danger, protection is transformed to the limit circles of protections for women. The ritual aspect of the circle shape is reinforced by weaving, a traditional female technique symbolizing the meeting place and the relationship between women. We are very honored to have all of these pieces, and they dialogue, they communicate the artists between them. We have also Jeannie Yaffe, who's also in the AND project. She's there right now. And this piece, she is an American, she lives in Miami. And this piece is T. Eliot's 4 quartets. It will explore the transition from the pre-verbal symbolic language of the body into the poetic metaphor created by language. In front of the rows of hanging text, a fragment of poetry from T.S. Eliot 4 quartets by the viewer, and the viewer can walk through. This allows the viewer to interact physically with the segments of the poem and reconstruct or dissect each phrase to derive its multiple meanings. So the fragment of the poem says like this: I said to my soul, be still and wait without hope, for hope would be hope for the wrong thing. Wait without love, for love would be love of the wrong thing. There is yet faith, but the faith and the love are all in the waiting. Wait without thought, for you are not ready for thought. So the darkness shall be light and the stillness be dancing. And another piece by Jeannie is Alice in Dystopia. This is an installation built around a stop motion animation of Alice in Dystopia, a retelling of Lewis Carroll's 1865 Alice in Wonderland. In this version, Alice and the rabbit fall down the wrong rabbit hole into the contemporary world of 2020 with all the problems, the environmental and the social problems we have. And the characters must find a way to confront the crisis and offer hope for renewal and change. The next artist we have is Leslie Gabaldon. She is from Venezuela. She also is based in Miami. Her piece talks and dialogues with Jeannie's piece. The name of this piece is 8 Alices. And what Leslie intends to tell is a story of micro-survival, the story of everyone, but no one in particular. Her job is to turn intangible feelings into images where the audience can see themselves, relate to unspoken ideas, and confront the personal development concepts. Leslie aims to trap the audience's attention, not only with their eyes, but also with their thoughts. Her Alices are brave human beings. They make mistakes and fix them. Her Alices don't fall the rabbit hole. They jumped out in determination to conquer whatever life has it. They fly out from the struggle and become stronger, wiser, and invincible. Her other piece is called Split. She was very interested in documenting a powerful and intense segment of reality, the female sensibility. And what underlies these images is hope and the metaphor of what is possible. These images are ambiguous. She addresses loss and ecstasy, horror and pleasure. And next is the artist, is Nereida Garcia Ferraz. She's an artist born in Cuba. Right now, she lives in Miami. She has lived in different parts of the United States. And she has a long career as a photographer, sculptor, video producer, but we are showing some of her paintings. And this is called All the Little Things. And this is a reflection about the balance between what has passed and what comes next. It's like the awareness of the present, the force of life in every small thing around us. It's like living the present. And the next one is The Hug, which is a piece about all about the certainty of being, walking through the limits, and the energy of transcending, overcoming fears, and growing wings. And we are having also participating Danielle Gomez Ortigosa. She is a multimedia artist. She believes in the power of creating with intention. And we have her as a surprise. I'm not gonna tell you right now what she's gonna do, but it's gonna be really fun and a very interactive piece. She's gonna work with another artist. So this is what we have for now, and I hope you can come on November 23rd, and I'm sure Adriana wants to say some things about the exhibition next.
Hi, Rina, thank you very much. The Cultural Institute of Mexico in Miami, as you know, is part of the Consulate General of Mexico. So it is a cultural space, but at the same time, it's a political space. So that's the challenge for us. Because of this, we're looking all the time for projects and exhibitions that dialogue with the important issues for cultural diplomacy in Mexico, and at the same time, that interferes for the relevance of the city of Miami. Trigger of Hope aims to be framed in the International Day of Not Violence Against Women. For this reason, we consider, Rina and I, this exhibition is really important, because we have another challenge also, because it's going to be exhibited at the same time as the Art Basel, which represents a huge challenge, no? To attract the attention of the public that comes to Miami to the art fairs. And we also, we were struggling with to provoke in positive, because we know that all the negative and the and the red note in the news, it sells more. But we wanted to be in this direction. We wanted to provoke in positive. So it was a challenge. We have to do it in very short period of time. So, but I still that we are very excited to have this exhibition, and we believe that it's going to be a one-of-a-kind exhibition. So as Rina said, we hope you like it. The opening will be on November 23rd. Until January 13th. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Rina and Adriana. What a wonderful project. We're really looking forward to see it. And just for the people joining, we're gonna open the mics for everybody at the end of the three presentations. So we're gonna proceed with Eugenia Peralta. Eugenia is who was born and raised in Mexico City, and she works as an art consultant, focused on building bridges between artists and collectors, with a special emphasis on helping her clients to make informed investments in art. In order to best advise about art purchases, Eugenia dedicates time to get to know her clients and learn what motivates and inspires them. Eugenia, the floor is yours. Probably you're probably muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Good. Hi everyone. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you, Guadalupe, for inviting me to be part of this amazing workshop. And thank you for the introduction. I want to share a story about my life. When my dad passed away many years ago, he left me a painting, and that painting reflected a lot of the things that I was going through. When you lose someone that you love, it was the ocean, it was chaos, it was pain. I'm not able to move my screen. Okay. It's similar to this one. Unfortunately, it's not this one, and I cannot tell you the name of the artist because unfortunately, the artwork got damaged in Mexico with humidity, but it drawn me. These captured my attention, and as I said, reflected everything that I was going through at the moment. But also it reflected hope, and it reflected calm after the storm. And that's when it triggered me, the power of art, the power that art has in your life, you know, like that healing that draws you and make you feel different emotions, right? Guadalupe has talked about it in her workshop. So it's that feeling is the one that I want I aim my clients to connect with when they want to collect art. So you already talked about a little bit about myself. Thank you, about me. So my mission is to teach and advise people on the process of collecting art. And my purpose is to humanize and curate that process by teaching them and learning about their tastes, their experiences, inspirations, motivations, and make it more that enjoyable process and making less of an economic transaction or like beyond a decorative element. I want my clients to really feel and learn what they are acquiring for their houses, and because they're going to spend the life with it. So for me, it's very important to do so. This is an example. I work with a young couple. They wanted to start their collection, and it's a very happy young couple, and they love to dance. And they found, we worked together and we found this piece. It's by a Mexican artist called Coco Lu. And the story of the art, it's interesting because it's called Diary of Life in Color 7. He grabbed a moleskin and he draw throughout the years, starting in Barcelona in 2008. And he was documenting his life through drawings. And then when he realized the moleskin was like this big and he couldn't like tear the pages, he reproduced every single page. So it's like capturing a moment in time for the artist. And now it's going to be capturing like a moment for the life of the couples who's going to have these painting in their homes. I always try to bring that importance of collecting art, of having that something unique in your home. As I said, documenting something, a memory of a specific moment in time, not only for that collector, but for the artist. As Rina was saying, like the artwork with the knots, it's something symbolic for the artist that meant something for her when she was creating it, right? So for me, it's very important to translate that to the people who's interested in art. And it transforms the spaces. It helps you to connect within yourself, connect with others, connect with galleries, with different artists, with people in the arts, with everyone, really. And it's also, I see it as a legacy. The process that I was telling you about is just learning about my clients and asking them their aesthetics interests, but also teaching them about the artists, why they created such piece, what's the process behind it, all the intention, and also the mediums that it means, the provenance, and so on. I love this piece by Tanya. I know she's here watching. It's called The Slow Motion, and you can see it has 5 rings. It's a sculpture, right? So this was a commission, and the mother of the person who asked for this commission, she wanted each ring to represent one member of the family, each member of the family, with the intention that they all see like in themselves by interacting with this piece every day. But as I was saying, as a legacy, the owner of the artwork asked the artist that in the future to recreate that artwork, so her children could take it over to their houses, so they can take a piece of their house with them in a symbolic way, but also start their own life and connections and collecting and whatever comes, with that, within that process, which I think it's amazing. And Rina was also mentioning like last year was a difficult year for all of us. And one project that I work with, an artist called Hildo Medina, Mexican artist, he's starting doing this portraits of the soul. It's basically drawings of the eye. And I think it's important to mention because for him, lockdown meant creation. So he started creating and inspired by everything that he could like possibly imagine. And he captured these eyes. And these eyes, I mean, are not going to be the same in 10 years, right? So it's amazing how for that collector, it has like that specific moment of time, like in one piece. And I really like them. And to talk a little bit about the upcoming projects that I have, I'm working with Tanya in a project with a collaboration with a luxury brand, because fashion and art have always been together, like Yayoi Kusama and Louis Vuitton and more than that. But this it's really special. We really want to take the artworks away from the gallery environment and put it in a more casual setting, and having a collaboration with a luxury brand here in Miami. We'll share the details later. It's going to be in December. And I think it's an amazing way of the arts to just keep spreading as they have always been and touch different areas. And I'm very happy to do this collaboration with her and with the brand here in Miami. And as I said, to make the arts take like a different turn and put them away from, sometimes people feel that going in a gallery could be like a little intimidating, right? So that's another feeling that I want to work with my work with my clients, because sometimes it's not like that. It's like, okay, let's find the way that you can feel comfortable going into a gallery, or find the artworks. If it's not in a gallery, let's look somewhere else. So that's why I try to connect with people like Guadalupe, all the artists in the ANT project and beyond, to have like that sense of community and help between each other to find like all these projects to work. And I just found this beautiful quote from Aristotle, if you want to read it. Like, the aim of the art is not to represent, it's to represent not the outward appearance of things, but the inward significance. So I think it ties everything that we have been talking about, and about the feelings and how you really see art and make it yours. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Eugenia. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, so
How was it?
yeah, exactly. So we're going now to present Laura Villarreal. Laura is an interdisciplinary artist working at the intersection of fiber, painting, and photography. Through the use of embroidery, paint, and textile on paper and canvas, she creates a feminine poetry inspired by her Mexican roots. Laura, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. So nice to be here with all of you. Thank you, Guadalupe, for this wonderful project, which I really love, because that horizontal idea, it's just so amazing, of interaction, like how we said it, this hyper-intelligence that's created through this horizontal information. So thank you. Nice to see you, Adriana. Thank you for all your support. I have to say that. And last, to Edgar Pozos and Nicole Pozos from PEN Projects for being here, which have this new space in North Miami, where I will be showing my work during Miami Art Week. Okay, so what I'm going to share with you, it's an ongoing project titled Diary of the Recent Past. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So Diary of a Recent Past is a series of thread portraits that gives us a powerful insight into the role of memory and how we deal with it. It serves as a critique of collective amnesia and its relation to historical events. It includes 100+ thread drawings on linen portraying masked individuals that have been part of my originating circles since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. It is a visual documentation of this era while touching issues of sense of place, security, interconnectedness, memory, and fragility. So what does that mean? My work, most of my work is very interested, like what I do in the concept of memory, how we as individuals deal with the idea of memory. And for this project, which is an ongoing project, and what I'm going to show, it's sort of the process, is my intention is that it's see how we can deal with this pandemic issue and through our lives and live it, like, say, for example, how can we make this situation transcend over time? So some of my works, and this is just an example of how I work with thread, I play with the idea of the sewing machine as a pencil, as a drawing. So instead of using a pencil, I use thread. How did it start? It started as the originating circle. What does that mean? My originating circle is the people that surround me. So there's this idea of that you're the center of energy, and all the people that surround you create this force of energy. And then there's people that surround those people. So we start creating concentric circles, and that information that flows through all the circles, what brings us into this hyper intelligence or collectiveness. So what I do in this process is I get photos of people I've been in touch with during the pandemic. And then I start working. I create my Excel sheet of the people who I have in the photographs just as a documentation. And I start playing with the idea of time. What does this mean? So when I'm doing the thread portrait, it not only represents the time we're living of COVID, because I want to interrelate it with other pandemics, like the Byzantine pandemic or the 1919 flu pandemic. So the idea is to play also with this idea of time, not only with memory, but also with time. So if you see those two images, you can see this is a very contemporary image of our pandemic right now, and this is of another era. So I get this image from a person now, and then I start playing. I collage with works from other ideas to play with this memory idea, with the use of thread and linen for the work. And this is more or less the process. Okay. So I used, I get the image and I start sewing from the back. So you're getting all the backstage of how this project is going. And this is an ongoing project. And that's how it's gonna turn out. These are some of the images that have been going on. In the use of fabric, I start playing also with the idea of fabrics. Now, why this number? Okay, so the portrait in my work, I use a lot of this contrast between my life. I've lived half of my life in Mexico and half of my life in the United States. So it's basically always I'm contrasting either by media or by color or by something. There's always this sort of tension in the work. And in this case, the portraits will be black and white, and the only thing that will be colored will be the mask and the number. What's that number? That number represents the age of the person during the pandemic. For example, this is Cesar. Cesar was 48 when the pandemic hit. What does the 48 represent? It not only represents his age, but it's also sort of this stamp reminding us, like, I don't know, like say the Holocaust, when we became this number, or how we become a number in this pandemic, or how these groups by age are more susceptible to the influence of COVID. So it has a different layers, but there's that number, like besides that, Cesar was 48 at the time of the pandemic, and how that impacted him in his life. Now, these are some references. Since there will be like 100 of these portraits, there's some ideas on the way that the work will be installed. And I go back to this. So here I take some reference from an installation by Rosana Paulino, Brazilian artist, in which she makes these fiber art portraits with printmaking. And then I take the idea of the jewelry, and the escapulario, which are these symbols of hope. Like the escapulario is a symbol of hope in the Catholic faith. So I sort of play with the idea of this, say, hope, and then all these European symbols of glamour, of power in the work. So the idea is somewhere in there where it's going to come from. So that's about, so playing with religion iconography and nobility in the eras of the pandemic, and contemporary portraiture. So that's basically the work that I'm going to be presenting soon. And that's it.
Excellent. Thank you, Laura. Incredible project.
Thank you. Thanks.
So please, all the participants, join the conversation. If you wish just to unmute your mic, and if you want to post any question or any comment, whatever the goal of this interaction is that the artists receive the feedback, how their work is getting to the people. Artists, our consultant, curators, how the work we're doing is getting to the people, and like spontaneous reaction. So please free just to unmute and give your feedback to the presenters.
I'd like to say something if I could.
Yes, Jenny.
To Eugenia, I love what you're doing. I think you're changing. What's so, I think, interesting, you're trying to change the paradigm of what collecting is in this particular time where it's become so much a commercial investment kind of concern, and to return it to something of meaning, both in communication, both between the artist and the collector, but particularly where it becomes a meaningful part of their home and a meaningful part of their daily experience, and not associated with all kinds of other issues that really feed a culture that really can, that doesn't move to the best of human nature. And this moves to the best of human nature. So I really think what you're doing is pretty great. And I hope you are capable and successful of starting a new paradigm with all of this. It's a really great.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your words. They mean a lot because it's as I said, it's a purpose. I really want to find a way to make it different. And because in the end, as you said, like, you're going to leave with, I believe that you're going to leave with a piece of work in your life, in your home, and you're going to make it yours. And as the example that I gave, you're going to pass it through your generations, right? So that's something fantastic. And I want it to be, as you said, more than an economic transaction, go beyond and have those connections, meaningful connections between the artists and that communication. And that's really my purpose, and I'm really working hard to make it happen. And I really appreciate your words. Thank you.
I'm just really curious, what made you come to this? What was the evolution for you of approaching it this way?
You know what? I think I studied my MA in Contemporary Art at Sotheby's Institute in New York. And I think that people was focusing, as you said, like more on the commercial side and flipping it. And I think it's good. It's part of the market, and we have to respect that. It is what it is, right? Part of what made me feel this way was the example that I gave you about when I saw the painting with my dad died, and I was so drawn into it. I was like, art can be, it is something else. How can people see it that way? You know, people have to have a feeling. I don't know, like I have an example from Tanya. She, a collector asked her to make a painting for her meditation room, and it was a painting from skulls, but that made her happy, you know? So whatever makes a person happy. So for me, it's been a process of finding really how to get to people, how to really approach it in a way that they can really understand where they're getting into, where they're getting into their hands, beyond the medium, beyond the size, beyond, you know, like telling them like, oh, it's a canvas on Chinese ink on paper, whatever, you know, it's beyond that. And I think it's been a long process of self-learning as well, but I think it's been going great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Tanya.
Creo que ya.
Yeah.
¿Ya se oye? Ok. I have a question for Laura. I loved your project right now. And first of all, congratulations to everybody. It has been really, really interesting to hear. And especially in the morning, it's like, okay, I have a lot of thinking to do all the rest of the day. But I wanted to ask Laura, because I've been working on a project that might require me to use thread for the first time in my life. It's not something that I would consider as an art media. So what made you start with thread? Why thread? How do you convey emotions to it? How do you make something that I like the concept of memory. For me, I remember my mother doing that. So it's something that I would associate with my mom. So it's not something that I would associate with me or contemporary art in any ways. So I'd love seeing this project. I love seeing it in art and as an art form. So I wanted to hear how everything started for you.
Thank you, Tanya. Hi, nice to see you first. So I've been doing this, like I've been in the arts for more than 20 years, and most of my practice has been revolving around painting. So maybe around 5 years ago, I started working very empirical in fabrics. When I was, and I have another story like Eugenia, when I was 15 years old, and you know this age, when you're 15, you just want to party. I went every Saturday morning to a class to learn how to sew. So that was my morning. For some reason, and I did that for like 3 years until I was 18. And I loved that. Like that was my choice. But then, well, life went on and I started going into art and everything. And I did mostly painting. But 5 years ago, I said, no, I don't know. And some of you who are artists, there's a point where you feel that something's not enough. Like you're doing this over and over and you're like, no, I don't feel like it's fulfilling me. So I started going into fabrics very empirically, and then and I did some pieces. I did a series called the Stitch series, which you can find on my website. But I didn't really know, and being Mexican, all the tradition of our Mexico. Like we have this big, huge tradition in the, I'm from the north part of Mexico, so I don't have that much over there, but all the south part of Mexico, central part of Mexico. So I started diving into that, and I just really felt that was part of me. So I cannot tell you that I would only work in fibers, because I really love the mixed media thing. I love collaging. I love using paper and then printmaking and then putting a thread into it. I don't set boundaries on the medium I use. I just like use the one that it serves the purpose that I want for the project. But I can tell you that fibers, it's one of, like right now, one of the most important. And if I have to tell you, I would say that I would use fabrics as the painting and thread as the drawing. That would be my analogy of how I use it in my work.
Congrats. Beautiful work.
Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you. Anything, any other comment? Just unmute and go.
I'm not feeling too wonderful, so I can't really be very fluid in my thought process. But so forgive me for that. First of all, thank you very much to all the presenters. Very interesting, different ways of dealing with this thing that we call art. And I would also like to pass just a little comment on Laura, because I felt that, well, two things. You are questioning time and you are questioning memory. They are two things that I have questioned within my work for a long, long time. Obviously from my own point of view, my own different angle, but immediately that made me curious. And the fact that you actually fuse time, fuse these two aspects of what we call time, because after all, time is an illusion anyway, but nevertheless, the past and this present, and how you reflect this present through such a, yes, it is a very female, but not necessarily so, but through a very ethereal, because the ethereal is very present. It's felt, or I felt it anyway. And And so another layer of time for me. So it's that time, and this time, which is the dilution of time. So I just wanted to pass that comment because for me, that really had that kind of quality. Thank you, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Inés. Thank you. And I want to say something. I don't know if you have felt this, but have you ever felt that you were born in another time, that you like belong to another era? So this is something that I play with this work. How are you in these all same places, or is time really a thing? And also memory as human beings, how do we remember what happened? How does it serve our purpose and make us better in the future if we forget it? So it's this idea of documenting it, living this diary of what happened so we can live it and learn from it. But also maybe we already did in another era. Just don't forget that, because maybe you were there. So that's the play or the game in this work.
Yeah.
Thank you, Laura. We have a comment in the chat from Hans Busse. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. It says, I'm not Mexican, but love art and how each person has a different way to represent it. I've seen some of the artists who presented today, and it's really great and admirable. Thank you, Hans. Yeah. Jeannie?
Yeah, both to Adriana and to Rena, the whole idea of having art in a consulate and I'm really curious. I mean, I think it's fabulous, but you've got in a sense, a political organization to some extent, and then you've got art, and I'm just wondering how that has played out so far in that institution, and what you think it's brought to it and how it's been received, and just really curious about that. If either one of you can say something about that, or maybe it's not a good question to ask, I don't know.
I think it's a great question, but I think Adriana would be better for answering that question, because she has been doing, since she came to Miami, she's been doing, I don't know how many exhibitions already, and she can tell you more about that.
Yeah, how you got started, Adriana, doing that.
Well, we have a very difficult year last year. No, the pandemic year was silent year. Well, at least at the Mexican Institute, I've been here for just 1 year. But before, this institute was silent because the pandemic situation. No, there I find one exhibit that's been on show for a year, and I am an artist, so I know how important could be a wall. So for me, it's so important that this institute could be alive, not in silence. So that was the beginning, and for me, it's very important to show and to promote as many artists as I can, because myself, I am like this. I am also an artist, so I know the relevance of each one once you have the opportunity to be in the right place. So I am a little bit against the solo shows in this particular space, in the Cultural Institute, because we wanted to make as possible a promotion of as many artists that I could, because we have a silent year the year before. That's why we have in debt. No, we need to keep doing and to keep making with even more creativity, with less budget, but with even more double or triple creativity. So that's why I believe in the Mexican Institute we wanted to promote to everybody, not just in this discipline. We wanted also to open to another cultural disciplines, because we believe that Mexican culture has many things to say here in Miami. So we wanted to create a dialogue between these two communities, Miami and Mexico. And for us, it's very important to reach out more community that has interest in common. For example, Eugenie, you have interest in us now because we are talking about the same values, the same point of view in having your exhibition at the consulate. No, so that's why I believe it's so important to start to think differently in these political spaces. We wanted to provoke, to frame them in political matter issues, but also have a conclusion, a positive conclusion that makes a little bit better the society. No, and I believe Rina and I have the same values here, and it was so comfortable, so meaningful, and for me so plenty of many things like that we share, Rina and I, with this exhibition, because we wanted to do it like a trigger, like explosion, like a detonant for that makes a difference for this society. I don't know what you think, Rina.
Yeah, and I think this space, it has been really, at least to me, it's been like a blank, like a white canvas. It's Adriana's and the consul's approach. It's very open, so you can propose so many different things, and they let you. There's so much freedom, and I feel very comfortable because of that. Adriana was saying about the Mexican, the Miami, but I also feel very happy that they let other communities, not only the Mexican, promote their art and being part of, because we are all of us are connected in some way. We're all human and we all have same thoughts and feelings, and it's very nice to have this space to be able to express ourselves, not only as Mexicans, because I don't know, but maybe other consulates care about their community, but here it's more not only about the Mexican community, but also about how Mexicans connect with other communities too. So that's really being very, very grateful for me, very rewarding for me, the experience to be working at the Mexican consulate with Adriana.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're reaching the end of the conversation, and I just want to close with one thought, and it's not just a thought, but experience, that every time we get together to talk about what the artists, curators, and cultural creators are working on, we inevitably find oneness. It's incredible because from Europe, from the US, from Mexico, we're talking about many common things. And it's a human thing. It's the human experience, what we're dealing with. And it's important to remember that this is what we are. We are one, we're humans, and our experience is the experience of being humans. So this is part of the goal of the ANT project, and this is, it makes me very happy to experience every time we meet. We find these commonalities, we find these connections, and these connections are spontaneous and are always there. So It's just a matter of creating the space and, diving into it. So thank you everyone for being part of the project. Thank you everyone for sharing, sharing your time, your ideas, your feelings. Please keep in touch with the ANT project. We're gonna have more and more programs like this one, and we would love you to meet you. We would love to meet you in the near future. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Guadalupe. Thank
See
you.
you very soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So nice to see you.